Some new information has come to light about WWE releasing the monster among men, Braun Strowman, one of the more noteworthy names let go from the company this week, plus a former big WWE executive producer and personality has come out and said why he thinks, in a very declarative way, why WWE is not for sale. It's your Sportskeeda Wrestling top stories of the day.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
What's up, everybody? I am Kellam. You can see the story there on screen. Let's get into it. Braun Strowman, one of the bigger releases for WWE this week, and a lot of people shocked by it. This guy was a former WWE champion. A lot of people thought he had a great standing in the company. Recently signed a big money deal in 2019. So him being released was shocking to a lot of people. Very, very surprising to a lot of different fans. And I understand it. And I know there's still fans that are upset about it and will continue to be upset about it for the foreseeable future. I understand here. But we're getting more information here from big old Papa Dave Meltzer about why this is happening. And this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, he stated the following: with Strowman, Adam Shearer, age 37, who was on a $1.2 million guaranteed deal and had just a few weeks back denegregated all non-WWE wrestling and said he would never wrestle anywhere else. The decision was made because of the feeling he was 2 years past his peak. Ooh, boy. He had become obsolete as a roster giant because of Omos on Raw, Commander Aziz on SmackDown, and perhaps Shanky, a new big Indian superstar, on Raw, being on the main roster, who were so much bigger than him. Technically, I believe all three of those guys are actually physically taller than him. So this is Meltzer's take and things that he's heard and things that he's seen in his esteemed position on this story. What do you think? I want to know what you guys are thinking of this story. The details here: $1.2 million. That's a really strong guaranteed deal. I believe the number he signed for was 4 years. So that's a lot of money. That's before even merch. It's before other things like endorsements and stuff like that can come up in a WWE deal. And now he's on the shelf. Is he going to wrestle again? Is he going to wrestle somewhere else? I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that he would be a slam dunk in another wrestling promotion just because of how prominent a superstar he was with WWE, how big of a superstar he was. Let us know what you think. Hit the like buttons. Hit the hearts buttons. Do you want to see Braun Strowman show up in wrestling again? Do you think he's past his prime? I don't think so. I was very, very surprised by this. Very, very surprised by this. And a lot of people say, well, if WWE's doing this, if they're releasing Braun Strowman, a big name superstar with all this money tied to him, well, then that means they got to be up for sale, right? It's this Peacock deal. The speculation's been through the roof, and us here at Sportskeeda, we've been talking about it as well. Are they letting this all happen? For a sale? Is this just to release a bunch of different superstars to get the company and its giant portfolio on board with another major media company? They had 3 different billion-dollar deals in the past few years. They're highly profitable. So why do all these cuts? It's got to be to sale. Well, somebody else has a take on this, and it's somebody whose opinion I know you trust. It is Eric Bischoff, recently inducted just this past year in the WWE Hall of Fame. He had plenty to say about this move, and we have the story up on Sportskeeda right now. Go download the app if you haven't done it. It's available on the Google Play Apple Store. And in this, he says, on a recent episode of his 83 Weeks podcast, shout out to Conrad Thompson, he says, if you're a publicly held company and if you're officer of the company, you're the chairman of the company, guess what? Your number one job is every single morning is to make money for your shareholders. That's called a fiduciary responsibility. That's Vince's job, to make money for his shareholders. And guess what? If it looks like he's not paying attention to details, if it looks like he doesn't have the best interest of the investors in mind, if it looks like he has a bloated talent budget and it makes no sense to have 300 people under contract where the last 6 weeks you've only used 78 of them, maybe somebody said, hey, Vince, I think we better take a look at our roster because it doesn't look like we're managing it very well. Ouch. Is that more of an indictment to WWE? Is it more of a shot at WWE? Is it more a shot at just the roster? Is this just the circumstances we're in? Some people would argue WWE making a lot of changes like a lot of entertainment companies are. I could say this isn't just something indicative of just wrestling in general. A lot of entertainment companies have been doing this and seeing how they can run with a skeleton crew. how they can run with less, but still do as much, if not more, than they were doing. And when you do that and you save money on talent, then you put that money back into the show in some way, or you put that money back into your investors and you have a wider profit margin. Is it greed? You could call it that. Is it a responsibility to your investors, as Bischoff put it? Well, you have to do that. That's the business they're in. They're a publicly traded company. They have a completely different financial challenge than many other companies out there. So sound off. Let me know what you guys think here. I know we have some diehards with us all the time. Nathan saying, I could see him showing up in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I believe you're talking about Braun Strowman there. Braun Strowman would be a real attraction. Japan has always enjoyed their giant foreign monsters, their giant gaijin monsters that come in and wreck people. Hulk Hogan made a lot of money there. Stan Hansen, Vader, a few of them. I think he would absolutely fit in there. Now, does he want to go there is a whole other story. Dan wants him over in AEW. He wants a Braun Strowman Wardlow match. Wow, that would be something special, wouldn't it? That would be really, really special. And Larry Oriella, Larry, I know we have a lot of people saying stuff like this. Why WWE are you releasing someone like this? And you release some great wrestler like this, and then you go and do this, You go and you don't release Eva Marie. Well, they just re-signed Eva Marie. Can you guys sign me? Hear me on the right mic? I want to make sure I'm on the right mic. My audio settings are doing well, especially when I'm running solo here. And Larry adding him going to AEW. That's good for business. Well, here's the thing. I need everybody to slow their roll on the whole. These guys are going to AEW, because I just don't think AEW is in a position to take all of these guys. And I include the ladies in that when I talk about the guys there. Some will, some won't. We just saw Cutler, who was in WWE for some time. He just appeared on Impact Wrestling. So I'm of the thought it's a wide open market. You're going to see a lot of these guys in the independent circuit later this year. You're going to see them on independent shows. You're definitely going to see them at conventions doing signings and autographs. Those are, that's an easy thing to go and do. If you're not feeling physically up to wrestling for whatever reason, you've been rusty, you can definitely go out and take pictures and make some dough and do some cool stuff that way. I can see Braun doing stuff in Hollywood. He definitely has a unique look. He's already done some movies. I know he did a Sherlock Holmes movie a few years ago with Will Ferrell. He had a small part in that. I could see him going in that direction. I don't know. I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for everyone who got released this week. Everyone with their speculation here. Craig Nucky. What a name. Vince McMahon. He is releasing talent to reduce overhead so the company is more attractive for a buyer. Well, here's the thing, Craig. Everybody's saying that. I understand that's a very easy point to speculate on. And it's just kind of snowballing at this point where everyone's just speculation is becoming a news story. It isn't a news story. It's pure speculation. I know we have a story up at Sportskeeda Wrestling now about how it's just become a thing where everyone's talking about it. But I can tell you, there isn't enough to indicate that that's absolutely true. And there's a whole lot in what Eric Bischoff says here on his 83 Weeks podcast that would lead me to believe that, no, this is WWE saying, we're not going to go on the road with a big bloated roster. We're going to show to people that we're going to sign these deals, but also run efficiently. So it isn't that simple. It isn't something you can absolutely go on the surface and just see everything publicly and say that. It doesn't work that way. And, already have people saying, well, I heard NBC wants to buy. I think we'll get into speculation. If anyone was to buy it, I think NBC Universal would be somebody that would make sense. I get into some real details about this on the episode of Inside Cradle. I will drop the link for that in the comments for you guys. You really should check it out. We go into depth about why NBC would be the best candidate for it. And I'll drop the link for that podcast feed. If you guys aren't subscribed to it yet, I'll do that in the comment for you guys right while we're live right now. And if you haven't checked it out, definitely go check it out. It's available on all the different apps where you get podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. Go ahead and check it out. And if there's a podcast app we need to be on, let us know. Here we go. Prince Francis. Oh, isn't Prince the rock god? No way. He goes, sincerely, it doesn't really make any sense to me releasing Strowman. It's like a joke to me. Well, I mean, Meltzer made some truth here. I could say that some of his points are speculative, but they do have a lot of younger guys that are just as big. But are any of those guys connecting with the audience in the same way that Braun Strowman did? So it's definitely a hard thing to see here. And other people commenting just anger. Why would you let this guy go but spend money on this guy? We saw a comment earlier about this with Eva Marie. Dan texting and saying, a bloated talent budget, yet they will resign Lesnar for a boatload of money. Oh, you got to my other story already. Thank you for the help on that. Give it up for him doing that motivating comment for me to get into my next story here. An update on Brock Lesnar's return. Apparently on WWE.com, I don't know if this is still the case. It was earlier this afternoon that, they have the alumni page, people who used to be in WWE. They have people that were in WCW. They have all the different pages of rosters of active people, legends. Brock Lesnar has been moved from the alumni roster to the active roster. Ooh. Is that a big tell? I mean, everything has been leaning in this direction that Brock Lesnar is coming back for a big match at SummerSlam. No confirmation, but we've heard from a lot of different sources, including Matt Mann, Andrew Zarian, and Wrestling Observer, that seems to be the case, that they're lining up for a big Brock Lesnar match with reportedly WWE SummerSlam being in Las Vegas at a stadium. You need a big attraction. You need a big name to sell tickets. There's a lot of matches Brock could come back for, and it would be a big deal. I get it. People are going to be upset about it, but you see this. You want to save money on your deals, but then here you go spend big money on these guys. But that deal over time may be more effective on a Brock Lesnar. You may get your money back on it a little bit quicker. So there's a reason why deals like that are made. Dan, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you guys so much for checking out the show. Do you enjoy these videos? Go ahead and hit that like button. Come on. I know how many of you are watching. I know many of you could hit that like button. I demand you take the challenge. I demand you take the challenge and like that button. One more story to get in here before we finish up our top story of the day. Chyna. Vice TV is going to do Vice Versa Chyna, a documentary. A trailer has been released. Now, obviously, Vice TV has gotten into the wrestling game here recently. Obviously, the past years, Dark Side of the Ring was a big hit for them. And the third season is going on right now. And someone's got to call me now while I'm doing something. So great. And they're announcing this documentary. I don't know if it's clear that, this is not being produced by the same team, Evan Hussey and his team that do Dark Side of the Ring, which I think is fantastic. This is being directed by Sunshine Superman's Mara Strauss. It's Vice Versa Chyna, a definitive account of the wrestling phenom's life. It shares an in-depth look at what it is to be famous in America, weaving in the narrative of betrayal, addiction, and the intimate portrait of a complicated woman. A 2-hour documentary will premiere on Thursday, June 17th at 9 Eastern on Vice TV. I do know some noteworthy names will be a part of this project. Mick Foley and members of Chyna's family, including her mother and her sister. Sean Waltman. They'll also have medicine specialists. Billy Gunn will participate, and a member of the Sportskeeda wrestling family, wrestling pundit, wrestling producer, wrestling creative, Vince Russo will be participating in this. So it'll be very interesting. Vice Versa Chyna debuting on Vice TV on June 17th. Definitely look forward to that. I think they've done a great job with it. Obviously, it's not done by the Dark Side of the Ring team, so I'm interested to see how this is done. Obviously, Chyna had a very sad story in the later years of her life, but definitely made her mark and was well worthy of the Hall of Fame that she received that honor. A lot of people saying, she should just get that on her own. She was inducted as a member of D-Generation X. I could see her being inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame on her own as well. When that's going to happen, I don't exactly know. What do you guys think of the stories that we covered today? Get down in the comments. Get down there in the comments right now, and I'll be in the comments with you, responding to you, talking with you. Your comments matter, and we will get into that conversation. If you have not done it already, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the like button on Facebook, on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we are making the march to 20,000, baby. Thank you guys so much. We've had over 1,000 subscribers, I believe, in the last few weeks, which is really, really great. And subscribe to our podcast as well. If you're a podcasty person, go ahead and subscribe at all your different podcast apps. Just search Sportskeeda Wrestling. Please remember, when watching wrestling, you have to do this really, 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 really important thing. It's very concerning to me that you do this. And if you don't do it, it could be bad. It could be really bad. And that is enjoy wrestling.